Donald Trump's brazen proposal to develop Gaza and send its citizens to live elsewhere is reverberating around the world.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site. I envision a world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad, this could be so magnificent.
Well, there were attempts today by Washington to deny the more extreme elements of what President Trump said, including sending US troops to Gaza. Palestinians and the Arab world, as well as many nations worldwide, have responded with one voice: no. Tonight, the Palestinian Authority's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Varsen, Aghabekian, enters the debate to urge Australia to stand up against Trump's proposals. Dr. Aghabekian, welcome to 7:30.
Thank you.
These are President Trump's proposals for Gaza, in his own words: long-term ownership of Gaza, relocation of Palestinians to other Arab countries, US military in Gaza. Do you take those proposals seriously?
Yes, we have to take them seriously. I mean, they're coming out from President Trump, the United States. These statements are extremely dangerous. They represent a supremacist attitude on how the world is viewed. They're definitely unacceptable by us Palestinians. They are violations of international law. They negate our existence on our ancestral land. They deal with us as objects, and we're not objects. We're human beings who have been suffering under a belligerent occupation for a very long time, for over 7 decades. And it represents the hegemony of the powerful over the weaker, and it has been condemned by many countries throughout the world.
Now, the reason I asked that question, Dr. Aghabekian, is because there are people trying to defend President Trump, saying that he's trying to do something new, acting as a disruptor, throwing up new ideas to break the logjam in the Middle East. How do you look at that from your perspective?
I mean, any breakthrough is very much welcomed. Any creative ideas, thinking out of the box, is of course welcomed. At the end, we have an objective, and that is ending occupation. But including in this proposal displacement of people who have already been displaced so many times before. In 1948, most of them have been made refuge, forced to become refugees, and they became refugees in Gaza, leaving their cities in Haifa, Jaffa, Nazareth, and you name it. And they have also been displaced several times throughout the wars on Gaza in the last 2 decades. And they have been displaced during the genocidal war several times, moving from one place to another in the Gaza Strip, seeking a safe haven. And today we are blatantly telling these people, we need to displace you again. If we want to help Gaza and we want to rebuild Gaza, then that can be done while people are in Gaza, not being displaced anywhere else.
Is there any proportion of the Palestinian people in Gaza who would welcome the chance to be relocated?
You know, these are human beings after all, and human beings want a future for their children. They are sick and tired of occupation, and you can imagine the trauma under which these people are after being subjected to 15 months of bombardment. This is unimaginable. I mean, no matter how you look at it, you can't imagine how people survived the 15 months. So maybe you will have some people who would say, you know, I will give up and move on. But the majority will not, and we have seen it with people marching back to what they believe to be their home, not knowing what they're going to, if their home was still in place or it has been destroyed. And we've seen them holding brooms, holding kettles, holding pots. These people will never be displaced if they're holding for the tiniest things of their belongings. Will they give up their homeland? No.
But given the scale of the destruction of dwellings and infrastructure that we've seen and that you're referring to, is there a viable alternative in offering temporary sanctuary to Gazans in third countries while a reconstruction gets underway?
Instead of thinking about third countries and options elsewhere, let's together think of how we can relieve Gaza with immediate relief efforts and think of a longer-term reconstruction plan while people are staying put in their own homeland. Why do we need to think of third options? Why do we need to think of displacement? It is doable to reconstruct Gaza while people are in Gaza. And we have an experience with refuge. Once you are a refugee, we've been refugees for over 7 decades. We will not repeat that.
In an interview about Trump's proposals, and I'm bringing you to the Australian political environment here, in an interview about these proposals, Australia's opposition leader described President Trump as a, quote, big thinker and as someone who is trying to leverage the best outcome. Could I get your response to that description?
Well, that's his perception of what President Trump is doing. But as a Palestinian, I don't agree with that. Maybe President Trump has ideas, grandiose ideas in business, in how to administer the affairs in the United States, how to be on top of foreign affairs of the United States. But when it comes to me as a Palestinian, I don't read the options presented by President Trump as something that is palatable for us as Palestinians.
Now, President Trump also talked about the world's people becoming residents in a future Middle Eastern Riviera. What did that choice of words mean to you, the world's people becoming residents of a Middle Eastern Riviera?
It's taking my country away from me, and that Riviera doesn't include me. If Riviera is in plan or in sight, that is good, because we would like Gaza to prosper and to reconstruct Gaza and be on par of cities of the world, but with us Palestinians in it.
Now, could this remarkable intervention from the US president impact on the ceasefire deal directly?
Well, it might green light the Israelis to continue with whatever they are doing and to breach a ceasefire, because they are receiving this big support from the United States. We hope not, because our main priority right now is to have a sustainable ceasefire. And I think President Trump himself would like to see a sustainable ceasefire. He wouldn't, of course, I'm sure, want to see a catastrophe emerging in Gaza again, on top of the already catastrophic situation and the traumatized people. So we would like to push in the direction of maintaining the ceasefire no matter what.
What do you expect to hear from the Australian government in response to this set of proposals?
We want to have Australia and all other countries who are for international law and would want a world order and would want all the states to comply with international law to stand tall and say that this is not acceptable. You cannot defy international law. Palestinians are not asking anything more than what the international law gives them in terms of the recognized state on 22% of historic Palestine, and to be able to materialize that state on the borders or the lines of 1967. And this is what we were recognized on in the United States. This is what we want, and this is what we will continue to work for. From here, I would like Australia to recognize the state of Palestine. It's time that all free, loving countries recognize the state so that the illusion of the state of Israel on continuing its occupation would stop.
Do you want Australia to state explicitly an objection to the proposals put forward by President Trump?
Yes, we want all countries of the world, including Australia, to very clearly state, just like the many Arab countries that stated yesterday, that and European countries, that they object to statements of displacement and the negation of Palestinian rights and the killing of the prospects of the two-state solution.
Dr. Aghabekian, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.